While Douglas Carswell and Reckless resigned their seats and stood for election in a by-election when they joined UKIP, there is no requirement to do so. We don't elect a party, we elect a politician. We elect one person to represent us in a constituency. That person tends to belong to a political party, and therefore that political party tends to form the government if it's in the majority in the House of Commons. But there is no obligation for the constituency MP to remain in that party, or when they move from one party to another to stand for a by-election. There have been various attempts by backbench MPs to change this system, but it hasn't gone through. Tommy Thomas says the point missed, Tim, about Anderson's defection is that he hasn't resigned his seat, which would be costly to the public exchequer by, say, £2 million. But on the other hand, the same gentleman had no regrets in spending hundreds of millions on the Rwanda plan with no end to that saga in sight. I entirely agree with you. But the nature of our system is that a by-election is really not needed at this stage, or is not needed by convention or law at this stage. Maybe an incoming Labour government can change that. I think it would be a very good idea that when people change their party, they automatically resign their seat, and they can stand again in the new seat, particularly if they've been a good parliamentary and constituency MP. I don't know whether Lee Anderson has been a good constituency MP, but certainly he doesn't represent now what a lot of his constituents would have elected. Many constituents go to the general election and they elect for a party rather than a specific name. They just look down the list to see who's Labour, who's Liberal, who's Conservative, and then they put a tick next to that person, no matter who that may be. Maybe we need to change that. But Tommy Thomas is pointing out something which is an interesting fact, but it is a product of our system. And I think, given the fact that Carswell set the benchmark for UKIP, and that reform is UKIP in all but name, maybe Lee Anderson is under an obligation to call for a by-election and to put his money where his mouth is.